Hi, I'm Marie Story, Corporate Wellbeing Consultant at Welsh Duffield Companies. Today I'm here to talk about the really important topic of office and remote working ergonomics. Ergonomics is fitting the work to the worker in order to reduce the risk of injury or discomfort on the job. Ergonomics is really about fit, the fit between a person and what they do on a daily basis, the objects they use every day, and the environments in which they work. If the fit is good, the stresses on people are reduced. They become more comfortable, can do things efficiently and productively without any discomfort or pain. Exposure to more than one risk factor, though, increases the chances of experiencing discomfort, and we're going to talk more about that today. Some ergonomic risk factors include an awkward posture or a sustained posture, repetition, contact stress, and these can all lead to discomfort and over time, eventually to a musculoskeletal disorder. Repetition, by example, can be clawing the fingers as shown here, which increases muscle tension in the forearm. This is often when we're using our mouse. We can also have repetition by using the auto scroll feature on our mouse, the up or down arrows, or the end and home keys on the keyboard. Anything you're doing in a repetitive way throughout the workday. Awkward and sustained postures are very common. Awkward postures that are sustained over periods of time can cause muscle tension, they can reduce the blood flow, and even pinch nerves. Maintaining a more neutral posture over time can help reduce discomfort. A few really common postures are shown here, such as the extended forward reach to your keyboard and mouse on the left. This is when you're reaching forward and it causes muscle tension between the shoulder blades and the neck, especially when this posture is sustained over time. This could be 6, 7, or 8 hours, depending on how long you're sitting at your desk or workspace. A lot of people also bend forward at the waist during sitting. This happens when your feet are not supported, and that puts a lot of pressure on the lumbar discs. Shoulders are often shrugged upwards as well. This happens when the keyboard and mouse is just too tall for the user. Contact stress comes from pressure on the body by a hard edge or a surface coming in contact. This can reduce circulation to that area and obstruct nerve signals, leading to swelling, tingling, or discomfort. Examples here are the hard desk edge against your forearm and near your wrist, or the front edge of your seat against your calf. Other common reasons for discomfort: a headache is often caused by monitor height that's not ideal. Middle back tension is often by extending your reach to your keyboard and your mouse. Shoulder tension comes from your keyboard and mouse being too high. Again, those shoulders might be shrugged. Forearm and elbow pain can come from clawing the scroll wheel or the mouse. Wrist pain comes from an awkward posture during typing, which we know that if we're sitting at a desk, we're typing consistently throughout the day. That's definitely a repetitive motion. And then your lower back pain can often come from unsupported feet or a chair that's just not adjusted to your fit. Musculoskeletal discomfort can occur anywhere in the body and typically are not caused by a single traumatic event, but it's due to microtrauma to tissues that does not heal during rest. This can lead to a musculoskeletal disorder, and that's discomfort that accumulates over time in either muscles, ligaments, tendons, joints, or nerves, which could include a strain, a sprain, or inflammation. There are many ways people position themselves to use their computer every day, so let's learn the ideal way to start. There are 4 areas of focus. Guidelines on how to ideally adjust your workstation to fit you will focus on these 4 areas. These will be reviewed one at a time. The steps will go through the adjustments you need, making them personal to you. The goal is to help you find the position in which you can work comfortably. The first one we're going to focus on is body to chair. We're also going to focus on feet to floor, hands to mouse and keyboard, and your eyes to the screen. First, body to chair. The first point of focus is body to chair. This considers how your workstation seating affects your back, your shoulders, your hips, and upper legs. This section reviews the key chair adjustments, including seat height, seat depth, backrest support, and armrest. So this is the chair adjustment sequence, and most of us can do this fine on our own. First, you want to move your chair away from your desk, adjust the seat height so that your feet feel comfortable on the floor. Adjust the seat depth so that you have 2 to 3 finger width between the front edge of the chair and your calf. This avoids that contact stress. Raise and lower the lumbar support to fit in the curve of your back. You'll either adjust the entire backrest or just the lumbar support if your chair has it. You might also have a backrest tilt and tension. Adjust the backrest tilt to your comfort and adjust the tension that takes it to recline or remain more upright via the knob. And then of course, adjust the armrests. Lower one armrest completely, bend that elbow to 90 degrees, raise the armrest to hold the forearm in the 90-degree position without having to push the shoulders up. You want it, again, to maintain a neutral posture. Now we're going to focus on feet to floor. This considers how equipment at your workstation affects the position of your lower legs, ankles, and feet. And if you're short like me, it can make a really big difference. If your feet are unsupported, as shown here, the individual has put her feet up on the rolling part of her chair, which is not good for contact stress or for the lower back. What you want to do here is lower your chair seat height, then lower your keyboard and your mouse height, or just use a footrest. There's many styles available. You might even have a box around your house if you're working at home or in the office, and you just want to make sure that you put it at a height where your feet are supported and your knees are about a 90-degree angle. Unsupported feet can cause a lot of back pain. If your feet are not planted firmly on the floor, it is recommended that you do use a footrest. Your center of gravity, as you can see here, has moved forward. To maintain balance, feet are on the rungs of the chair and the user leans forward. With unsupported feet, the user may slouch sit, which puts significant pressure on the low back, a common complaint among office workers. Without ideal support for your feet, your body will adjust itself, and this may lead to lower back discomfort and chronic pain. Next are hands to mouse and keyboard. We're focusing here on how equipment in your workstation affects the posture of your hands, wrists, arms, and shoulders. This section will review how to best position the keyboard and the mouse. As you can see here, the height is important. The keyboard and the mouse should be located on the same level, and elbows should be at that 90-degree angle. Armrests allow relaxed shoulders so they're not hunched up, and the keyboard and mouse are close to the user. You don't want to be having to reach forward for them. You also want to keep it neutral. Do keep your wrists flat, as you can see here in the pictures on the left. Don't angle the wrists back. This can cause a lot of pressure on the wrist joint and lead to chronic pain. And you can see a lot of people make this mistake of putting up those little legs on their keyboard, and this really puts an awkward angle on the wrist joint. You want your keyboard to be flat. And look again too on the right at this individual clawing at the mouse and see how their wrist is bent at an awkward angle. A lot of people ask, do I need a wrist rest? Well, wrist resting can actually put pressure on the nerve, as you see here on the left. What we want to actually do is keep our wrists free. You want the meaty part of the hand, the palm, resting with no pressure on the nerve. This is actually a palm support. So think about this the next time you're using that wrist rest that you might have at your workstation. And finally, eyes to screen. This considers the aspects of your workstation that affect your vision. This section will review the position of your monitor or your monitors and the ideal height for you. If you have a single monitor position, your monitor should sit directly in front of you. The center of the monitor should be in line with your body. Oftentimes people angle a monitor off to the side, and that causes them to twist their body to look towards the screen. Put the monitor directly in front of you. There's some great recommendations if you're using dual monitors. Ideal position if your monitors are used equally, meaning you're using them 50-50 between the two, is shown here on the left. The ideal position if one monitor is primary and the other is secondary, about 70-30, is to have one slightly angled off to the side. But again, they're still very directly in front of the body and not far out of reach. Be sure not to place your monitors directly in front of a window as well, as your eyes will have to strain a lot to see it harder than they otherwise would. If you only have a laptop to use, you'll need to make some modifications to make it ergonomic friendly, as laptops aren't really recommended for an 8-hour day. So to maintain hands to keyboard and mouse, you're going to need to use a peripheral keyboard and mouse or a secondary keyboard and mouse. This is to ensure that you're keeping that proper posture in the wrists and forearms. To maintain eyes to the monitor and the screen, you're going to need to raise your laptop screen. As you can see here, there's easy tools we can use to elevate the laptop and then get that secondary keyboard and mouse to make it as ergonomically friendly as possible and to keep the monitor in front of the eyes. I want to talk now about ergo breaks. Your best posture is essentially your next posture. We don't want to be sitting for sustained amount of times in one posture. This can lead to a lot of discomfort. Let's talk about a few quick breaks you can take throughout your workday to break it up. One of the first I like to recommend is the 20-20-20 rule. This reduces the effects of computer vision syndrome. Looking at a computer for a long time can lead to headaches and eye strain. Every 20 minutes, you want to take a break for 20 seconds and look at an object 20 feet away. This sounds simple, but it's a lot harder than you might think. And computer vision syndrome is one of the most common stress injuries in the workplace. Caused by staring at a computer monitor for too long, CVS can cause headaches, blurred vision, and dry or watery eyes. So again, follow the 20-20-20 rule and give your eyes the break they deserve. Here are 5 simple stretches to try now and to do throughout your workday. The first being shoulder rolls. What you want to do is circle your shoulders slowly forwards, squeezing your shoulder blades together as you circle back. As I come back around, I squeeze those shoulder blades together and come back around, doing 5 to 10 rolls in this direction, and then switching direction. A simple stretch we all have probably done before, but really focusing on those shoulder blades, bringing the shoulders up towards the ears and relaxing them back. Remembering that we're always wanting to breathe during our stretches to reoxygenate the body. The next is an upper and lower back stretch. It's very common to, again, have that slouched posture, and we want to remind ourselves to stretch the upper and lower back throughout the workday. What we're going to do is interlace the fingers and turn our palms upward above your head and straighten your arms. Slowly lean from side to side, again, breathing and stretching into the ribs, into the side body, and then into the upper and lower back. Repeating as many times as feels comfortable. Another great stretch to try is a foot rotation. What you want to do is hold onto the chair with your hands at either side. You're going to straighten the leg and lift the foot a few inches off of the floor. Rotate the foot and ankle both ways. You're pointing the toes up and extending, pointing the toes down. Stretching through that leg, the foot, and the ankle. Taking that down and repeating on the other side. Pointing and flexing the toes. Getting that blood flow going into the calves, into the ankles, and into the foot. Another great stretch are just simple head turns. You're going to turn your head to look over your left shoulder and hold it there for about 10 seconds, breathing in nice and deep here, in and out, getting oxygen to the muscles, to the joints, waking up the body. And then as you're exhaling, bringing it center, and then turning and holding the other way for about 10 seconds. Trying to keep those shoulders away from the ears so we don't want to be shrugging up. We really want to have a nice long neck, feeling the stretch through the side of the neck and even into the shoulder a little bit. And then bringing it center. Repeat this a few times to feel a nice neck and shoulder stretch. Another great one is to look up and down. This is another great way to help with your eyes. What you're going to do is slowly focus your gaze down, holding it briefly. Slowly focus your gaze to the ceiling and hold it briefly. And then repeat the sequence 5 to 10 times. All you're doing is looking towards the floor and then looking towards the ceiling. We're actually working on the eye muscles here, which again can become strained from just looking forwards for so long. Repeating up and looking down. And now right and left. Slowly look far to the right, holding briefly, and then slowly turn your gaze to the left and hold briefly. Repeating 5 to 10 times. Looking right and looking left. Amazing how working such small muscles in the eyes can have a big effect on preventing headaches and eye strain. And then I always like to emphasize some great stretches for the wrists and the arms. If we're sitting at a desk throughout the day, our shoulders, our wrists, all of these upper body joints need just as much work as the lower body and the back. Let's start with the palms up and the palms down. Relaxing the shoulders, we're going to take the palms up and we're going to rotate from the shoulders and take the palms down. And take them up and take them down. Rotating here through the shoulder joint is a great way to strengthen and stretch those shoulder muscles, tendons, joints, just gently rotating in and out. And next here are wrist windshield wipers. Taking your palms, we're going to rotate the wrists up and down, up and down, and then we're going to take the wrists in and out, just rotating here through the wrists, feeling a nice stretch, getting more range of motion, especially if we're using a keyboard and mouse throughout the day. And then taking the wrists up and down, up and down, stretching here. Good. Again, relaxing the shoulders, not bringing tension into any other area as we work on these exercises. And down. Good. And then wrist rolls. We're going to take the palms and bring them forward, extending the hands, and then we're going to roll the wrists and bring them into a prayer pose. Taking the hands out, rolling the wrists, and then bringing them into a prayer pose. This will get into the wrists and even a little bit into the shoulders here. Again, increasing that range of motion, getting the joints moving in different ways. Taking them out, rotating, and into prayer. And let's do one more here. Rotating and center. Good. If you're interested in learning a little bit more on your own, here are some great resources. One from Ergotron, which has a Spot the Ergonomic Error tool. If you feel like you've learned a lot here and you want to put your knowledge to the test, you can spot the ergonomic errors in the picture. And there's also some great resources on WebMD about exercises for carpal tunnel syndrome, which a lot of office workers deal with, especially if they're at the computer for a long period of time. And then Northwestern has a great PDF here with the stretch break tips, which I encourage doing as much as you can throughout the day, taking those 20-minute breaks for the eyes, and then maybe hour or two taking a stretch break for yourself to get that range of motion going for the muscles and for the joints. Thanks for your time today. For more information, you can always visit us at walshduffield.com. Thank you.